Hello, and welcome to your first day of school and your first day with the school-issued Chromebook. My name is Mr. Offerman. I'm going to walk you through your first day using this awesome device. We're really excited this year to be introducing the Chromebooks all the way from the 12th grade down to the 5th grade classrooms. While the iPads were an awesome tool to have in the classroom, the Chromebooks are going to be a great way to get all the functionality of a computer without having to leave the classroom. So let's get started. Today we're going to cover three important topics. First, we're going to look at your device and everything that it comes equipped with. Second, we're going to review the internet policy and a brand new Chromebook policy. Finally, your teacher is going to distribute your Chromebooks and we're going to take a hands-on approach to seeing exactly what is available on this device. Comes equipped with a camera, a microphone, a touchpad mouse, a carrying handle, and is capable of up to 10 hours of use on a full charge. And one of the coolest features, it has a touchscreen display, which we'll take a look at later. Before your teacher hands out your Chromebooks, it's important that we cover the internet policy and the Chromebook policy. Let's start with the internet policy. With the Chromebooks and any device here at WHA, you will have access to the Wi-Fi. And with that access to the Wi-Fi, we need to be aware of how to appropriately use the internet. The purpose of having access to the internet at WHA is to use it for educational purposes. This includes classroom activities, educational research, and professional and career development activities. The following uses are unacceptable on any device while using the internet at WHA. Users will not use the school district system to access, review, upload, download, store, print, receive, transmit, or distribute pornographic, obscene, sexually explicit, abusive, threatening, or disrespectful material. This also includes any language or images that are inappropriate in the education setting or disruptive to the educational process, or that advocate violence or discrimination towards other people. Users will not use the school district system to knowingly or recklessly post, transmit, or distribute private, false, or defamatory information about a person or organization that is harmful. By violating any of the above stated rules, you may be subject to the following consequences: suspension, cancellation of use or access privileges, payments for damages or repairs, expulsion, or civil or criminal liability. Now, when you receive your Chromebook, it's important to understand what your responsibilities are for taking care of it. First off, while your Chromebook is sturdy, it is still vulnerable to damage. While transporting your Chromebook to school every day, be careful about the amount of weight placed directly on the Chromebook, especially with a backpack full of heavy books. Never place your Chromebook in a bag that contains food, liquids, heavy or sharp objects. Never throw, slide, or bump your Chromebook on the floor or against a locker. You may break the screen or damage the outer shell. Chromebooks should not be exposed to long-term temperature extremes. This includes extreme hot or cold temperatures and direct sunlight. Vehicles are not appropriate places to store your Chromebook. Do not expose your Chromebook to liquids of any kind. To clean your Chromebook, use a lint-free soft cloth. Also be aware that your Chromebook comes equipped with several ports, including a HDMI, USB, SD, and headphone port. These ports are all sensitive and you should be very careful when plugging anything into the device. The bottom line is, the best way to keep your Chromebook safe is to keep it in the WHA Wolves issued carrying case. It's got padding and it'll keep your Chromebook from getting wet or getting spilled on or getting crushed or damaged by anything heavy. Now that we're updated on the care and basic functionality of the Chromebook, it's time to explore the device hands-on. Now that you have your Chromebook, let's take a look at the keyboard. To start off, it's a basic computer keyboard. You have all the letters, you have all the numbers. Across the top, you have a page forward, page backward, a refresh button. These two buttons manipulate your desktop. You have your brightness buttons, sound buttons, and power button. You also have a really neat search feature here. Now let's try logging in. When you open your Chromebook, you should come up to a screen like this. You'll notice your WHA Schools end for your email is already in place. All you need to do now is type in the beginning of your email, which should be your first and your last name. I'm going to go ahead and type in Ben Offerman. Once you've typed in your first and last name, Go ahead and click Next. From there, you can type in your password. Now, if you had already set a password because you had an email last year, you have a new password that we reset just this morning. That password is capital W O L V E S 123. Again, that is capital W O L V E S 123. That password will then get you into your account. Now that we're logged into our Chromebooks, let's take a look at some basic settings and features and get comfortable with the way the Chromebook operates. Teachers, at any point, feel free to pause the video to give your students a chance to catch up or to deal with any issues that they might be having. For starters, if you notice the Chromebook right away, it looks like a basic computer. You have your wallpaper here in the background, you have your toolbar here at the bottom with a few applications, and you have some settings here in the bottom right with a few displays. For starters, here on the bottom left, you have what the Chromebook calls the shelf. And what you can do is actually pin apps to this shelf, and that's what these are here. Already pinned to this shelf are the calendar app, calculator, YouTube, Docs, Gmail, and then the Chrome browser. And I can show you how to attach those later. In the bottom left corner, you also have this dark circle called the launcher. If you click the launch button, this gives you access to Google's app service for any applications that you'd like to add to your device. And we can take a look at that later. Over on the right side, we have a few displays, time, Wi-Fi, battery. This is also a settings bar. If you click on it, you'll have a more in-depth access to some of the settings on the device. You'll see that we're logged into our email account. You also have a sign out button. You'll see it's the device is managed by WHA Schools. You have the Wi-Fi you're connected to. This here is also a tab showing any programs I'm running. Right now I'm running a program allowing me to record my screen. Down here on the bottom, you have a power button. You also have a lock button. If you click on this lock button, it basically allows you to lock your Chromebook the same way you would an iPad or your iPhone or any other type of device. You just type in your password and you're back in. You also have a help button. If you click the help button, it'll bring up a display that has several different categories in which you might have some questions about your Chromebook, and they can walk you through some procedures. In the bottom left-hand corner, the red, yellow, green, and blue button, the Chrome browser, if everyone would please click there, this is going to bring you into your standard internet browser. You can see right here we're on the Google homepage where you can do a quick Google search. Up in the right-hand corner, you have your profile, which should be the first letter of your first name. You have any notifications. This is the small 3x3 square here. Has all your Google apps where you can do quick access to Google Drive, Mail, Classroom, Docs, Calendar. Next to it, you have an image search, and then you also have a quick access to your mail. So what's really cool about Google is you can always access things in multiple ways. Let's go ahead and start with email. Like I said before, there's a few ways to access your email. You could either start by clicking the mail button, or you could click in the upper right here, the Google Apps Quick Access button, and you can click the mail icon. This will automatically load your WHA Schools email. When you log into the Chromebook using your email, it automatically logs you in online to your email, so you don't have to keep going through the process. You only have to do it once when you log into the Chromebook. Now you have access to your WHA Schools email. This functions just like a normal email. If you're unfamiliar with email, there's just a quick couple features here. You can write an email by clicking the compose button and then typing in to whom you would like to send it. You also have different folders here to store different emails. You can check your sent email depending on how you want to organize it. Using the email feature is extremely important for communication. I would encourage everyone to be checking their email on a regular basis in order to communicate with teachers or to get important information from the school. Let's go ahead and take a look at Google Drive. From here, if you would go to the top right and click the Quick Access menu and click the Google Drive icon in the top right. This will load a Google Drive which is directly connected to your WHA Schools account. The drive is important because this is going to function much like the hard drive of a computer might. This is where you will store all of your files or anything you create using your Chromebook. Because the Chromebook does not have a lot of internal storage, this is an important place to store anything important that you create at school. The drive is really cool because it allows you to create folders. If you click the new button up in the upper left here, you'll see that you can create a folder, you can upload files, you can upload entire folders, you have access to Google Docs, Sheets, Google Slides, tons of cool features on here. So just as practice, let's go ahead and create a folder. If you click on the folder icon, right away you'll get a new folder dialog window. You can go ahead and type in the name. I'm just going to call this English class, and this is going to be for all my files for English. I'll click create. And now I have a brand new folder called English class. If I double click on that, I now can put different files in here. I could start something, I could click new again, and I could start a Google Doc and put it in there. Google Drive is very simple to use and allows you to store all your files online. That's a great feature because you will not have to worry about them computer crashing or something happening and them getting lost or deleted. They'll always be online here. From your Google Drive, let's go ahead and take a look at the last Google app on the Chrome browser. If everyone would go to the top right and click back on the Google app quick access menu, let's go down and click on Google Docs. That's this icon here. Go ahead and click on it. Those of you that are unfamiliar with Google Docs, this is Google's version of Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is what most of us use on the school computers to type assignments, essays, reports, anything we might do for class. What's really cool is right away Microsoft Word gives you different paper formats you can use. If you don't want to start with a blank page, you could choose a report, class notes, an essay, anything like that. So it already gives you some things right away to set up your document. But let's just try here by starting a brand new document on the left here. If you click the blank page, this is going to load up a brand new blank Google Docs document. You'll notice right away with the Google Docs document that it looks just like Microsoft Word. A few location things are changed, but for the most part, you have different ways to manipulate the text, the orientation of the text. You could choose your font. You can also include things like tables or charts. So it has all those important features of Microsoft Word. One of the coolest features, though, is that this document will automatically save into your Google Drive, and you won't have to worry about saving it or losing it. For example, if we go to the top left here and click the untitled document bar, we can give this document a title. I'm going to call this Science Report. Now you'll notice automatically it's going to see the saving here, and then all changes saved in Drive. So now this paper is automatically saved in Google Drive. You'll see this folder has appeared here. You can click on it, and now you can even move the document into whichever folder that you would like to move it into. Google Docs is going to be your primary typing document. And again, this is something we will probably spend some more time on later. So let's go ahead and move on. Now that we've looked at most of the important features on the Chrome browser, let's go ahead and move on to the last subject here, which is going to be your Google Apps. But before we do that, let's try out one of the features I mentioned earlier, which is the touch screen. The touch screen allows you to pretty much use the screen and your finger as a mouse. And you can touch on any of the parts of the screen here in order to click like you normally would. So what I'm going to have everyone do is instead of using the mouse and the clicker, you can go ahead and just use your finger to lightly touch anywhere that you would normally click right on the screen. So for example, I'm going to click on the X by Science report here and just go ahead and close the Science report. I can go ahead and click the X on the Google Drive, just a light touch there. And again, you can't see me do this, but you can try it on your screen. Go ahead and click there, and it X's out. And finally, let's exit out of the Chrome browser in the top right here and get ourselves back to our home screen. So I'd encourage you to keep trying that feature if you're more comfortable with it. Keep using it. Otherwise, everyone else, let's just continue to follow along using the mouse. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Google Apps. You'll notice down here at the bottom, there are several apps here pinned to the shelf or the toolbar. The applications basically function like programs on a computer. Some of these, like the calendar, YouTube, Docs, email, they're all used with Google Chrome. But for example, this calculator app here just functions like a computer program, just like a normal calculator. You don't have to be online to use it. You can just use it like a normal calculator. But let's take a look at how you access those apps. So if you go to the bottom left-hand corner here, you'll see the launcher. Go ahead and click on the launcher, and it brings up the way Google allows you to access these apps. You'll see here, some apps are already on the Chromebook. If you click all apps, you can see that you have all the apps that are already preloaded with a few that I've already downloaded. The other cool feature is that you can search the apps on the App Store. If you click the web store in the top left here, this will bring you online to Google's application store, which is much like Apple's iTunes store. Now that we're on the web store, we're going to focus on two main things. We're going to focus on extensions and apps. The difference between an extension and an app is an application is something that you download onto your Chromebook and you can use down here or pinned to the shelf. An extension operates with the Chrome web browser and would appear up here in the upper right-hand corner and allows you to use Chrome and then also use the extension at the same time. So let's start with apps. If you click on apps here, it'll bring up apps that you can download. If you want to search for an app, let's say I'm looking for a calculator app. I would just type in calculator. Make sure that you select the app button here so that it only shows the apps. And let's look at this one. This looks like a good calculator app. I'm going to click add to Chrome, add app. It's going to download it. Now, if I go down here in the bottom left and click my launcher, the calculator app has now appeared. I can click on it and it opens up the calculator and I can now use it just like a normal calculator. While the apps are very useful on the Chromebook, you also might want something that you can use while you're using other programs. In that case, we're going to look at extensions. So let's go ahead and filter our search here. Instead, let's look for a calculator that we can use while we're online more seamlessly. So I'm going to modify the search here. I'm going to click extensions. And now it's going to filter out by things that will load up here, which will be the extensions. So here's a calculator here, Cloudy Calculator. I'm going to go ahead and click Add to Chrome. Now remember, this is an extension, so it's going to function on the Chrome browser. So I'm going to click Add to Chrome, and you can see here it says Add Extension. I click Add Extension, and now it says Cloudy Calculator has been added to Chrome. And now it's up here instead of in the launcher, and it actually won't appear here in your launcher. You can see it didn't go here, it went to my browser. Now the purpose of this is so that you can use the calculator while you're using other Chrome features. So let's, for example, say that I am writing a science paper. So I'm going to go back to my drive really quick here. I'm going to find the science paper that I started earlier today once this loads. Down here, there's my science report. I'm going to go ahead and open up my science report. Now with the science report, I might need to do some calculations. I might need to put a table on there with some information, but I need to do some calculations. What's cool now is because this calculator is an extension, I don't have to go down and open up a calculator program, which ends up blocking my screen or anything like that. Instead, I can use the Cloudy Calculator that I downloaded, and it'll actually appear right here, and I can do all those calculations without having to interrupt what I'm doing on the computer. So that's what makes the extension feature really useful. And there are tons of different extensions you can explore to help maximize your experience using the Chromebook. Now that we've covered the apps and extensions, we've covered most of the basic things you need to know about your Chromebook. But again, this is a really cool device, and there are tons of features on here that I encourage you to explore on your own. Go into the Chrome web store and find different programs that you might find useful for school, and look at the different extensions. One cool thing here too is the themes. You can download different free themes to kind of customize the Chromebook the way you want it to look. There's just a lot of really cool stuff on here. So Before we go, I told you I would also show you how to use the shelf feature down here, the toolbar. So if you click into your launcher and you select an app, so let's say Google Photos, for example, there's two ways that you could move this down to the toolbar. You could either use your finger and click directly on the screen and hold, and then release, and it'll show you a small menu, and you can just click Pin to Shelf. So now you can see Google Photos has moved from the apps menu down to the toolbar, or you could use the cursor and you can right click or use the Alt and click Pin to Shelf, and it will accomplish the same thing. That is the last thing that I wanted to share with everyone. I just want to note a couple more things. Your Chromebook is a school device and should be used only for school related projects and things like that. But that doesn't stop you from finding all the tons of cool stuff that is available for the Chromebook. The last thing I want to mention here is how to properly shut down your Chromebook. You'll notice here I'm running low on battery. And what'll happen is if I were to just shut the Chromebook now the way it is, unfortunately, it would still drain the battery. So the best way to make sure your Chromebook shuts down and does not waste any battery is to go ahead and click down here. And you can either click the power button right here, or if you look at the top right of your keyboard, there's a power button there. It'll power down, and you can just open it up and re-log in when you're ready, but then it won't drain your battery. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it informational. If you do have any questions, you can direct them to your teacher. You can rewatch parts of this video, which will be available on the school website. Otherwise, if you want to come to myself, Mr. Offerman, or Mr. Wilson in the junior high, we would be happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you again for watching, and enjoy your Chromebook.